Get my little shit together. What up? What up? What up? Thank you for joining me, everybody. I was gonna start at 11:20. I told people on Instagram 11:15, but I thought I was gonna need an extra 5 minutes, so I didn't. So anyway, good evening. How everybody doing? Today, I wanted to at least guide the first part of the discussion. Not a lot, but I wanted to dig into this desperate vibes topic. I get a lot of comments in the desperate anything section of, desperate vibes comment section of anything involving that subject, and a lot of times it's a lot of garbage, being shared, especially amongst people who have a different point of view, and I'm completely okay with people having a different point of view, but sometimes people just need to understand that self correction isn't necessarily a betrayal of self, right? And correcting your flaws or correcting your mistakes doesn't mean that you're not being true to yourself. And I think that we need to really dig into the whole desperate vibes thing, and what that means for women, what it can mean for men. How many people. How many people misrepresent themselves in doing that, the damage it can cause people, and why it's so important to, like I said, just be a good representative of yourself. A lot of times, I know a coworker of mine always talks about this. She says, when you meet a person, you're not meeting them, you're meeting their representative. Their representative. I need some water. Um, I got some too. But when people meet your representative, they should probably meet somebody who at least looks like the person they may get. And so, a lot of times when you give off desperate vibes, and the like, that means so many different things too. So it's just such a large topic. I just wanted to talk about it. Um, anyway, how everybody doing? Man, I ain't been live in. It's probably been like a month, maybe more, maybe 5 weeks. I don't get on here a lot. Um, Nice, desperate in their view, absolutely. Man, it's a lot. It's a lot going on in these comments. So if you have a comment, you have a belief, you have an opinion about anything related to desperate vibes. Okay, all of my notifications just decided to come up right now. Hold on, I'm gonna try to get these notifications off. Let me try to get these notifications off. I don't know why that just popped up. I've been on the computer for 20 minutes and all the notifications just popped up right now. Uh, it's basically a bunch of comments from today or yesterday or whatever day. Hold on. We're going to get back to this discussion. Good gracious. My God. Okay, no more notifications. Please leave them. Okay, cool. My bad. All right. So, anyway, like I said, let's dig into this, right? So, again, my whole point in making these videos isn't to take take an opportunity to use my platform to be harsh or judgmental to women, right? And generally, when I say something that people don't like, they just go right to that, and I get it. I understand that, but I'm here to elevate higher minds, and speak to people who can actually receive some of the ideas that I'm talking about, because the whole point here is just to help people understand not only men, but how they relate to men, and how to best represent themselves in going into a relationship. So with that said, I'm gonna start reading these comments. But again, we're trying to have a guided discussion here. So if you can, for at least the first 20 minutes, I want to speak on desperate vibes, and then we can dig into whatever y'all want to talk about, whatever, anything under the sun of today. Um, mm, okay. And while I'm looking for this first question, somebody said I've been giving off desperate vibes lately. I've been lowering my standards in dating somebody. Yeah, I think for the most part, that's 90% of what I encounter when I speak to women, and they're having issues with guys, and they don't know where they stand with guys. It's because they've lowered their standards, um, and they've really been giving off desperate vibes. And it doesn't mean you're desperate when you give off desperate vibes. And I think some people are so offended, or so thrown back by that wordage, and I don't know if wordage is a word, but that wording. There we go. That it offends people before they have a chance to digest it, and when you give off desperate vibes and you lower your standards, that might not be what you are in a stable relationship, in a loving, happy, um, um, honorable relationship, you might be a very stable person, with a very, very, very fair basis in how you conduct yourself and how you want to be treated. You might have a lot more self-respect, a lot more self-honor, a lot more integrity than you might allude to, or give a person an idea of in a desperate situation, when you've been lonely, you've been alone, you've been disappointed, and then you meet someone and it's working, and then you start being subservient to them in a way that, again, makes it look like you're desperate. And so, yeah, you you almost have to challenge yourself and kind of fight against your worst parts, because when you start to be desperate, and I hate this word, because again, this subject matter is so giant, right? It's so big. But when you start to misrepresent yourself by being too subservient to a man, or catering to his needs, or his opinions, or his schemes, if you're the other woman, or whatever you might be doing, if you don't demand honor, if you don't demand respect, what happens is a guy will exalt himself above you, right? And he starts to treat you like a subservient person. He's not treating you as an equal anymore. You're not seen as an equal when you show people that you're desperate, or when people assume, or for whatever reason can surmise that you're desperate. They think that you're beneath them, and then you start being treated in the exact way you're not trying to be treated, or you don't want to be treated. So it's very important that, at least until you get to know a person and get a correct measurement of their character, you don't go into a subservient, desperate place with them, because it actually attracts the wrong type of people. Being desperate, it attracts users. It attracts people who are abusive. It attracts people who are opportunistic, for all the wrong reasons. And so it's not just about looking a certain way. Like, this subject matter has so much less to do about looking good or looking bad, or being, embarrassing yourself, than it does about how people respond to you, how people treat you, and how you ultimately treat yourself as a result of those interactions and those relationships that you build. It causes a lot of damage to people when they've been mistreated, and when they've always been the heel, or the head, the tail, and not the head of a relationship, or at least in a social respect. If you're always, being treated like a second class citizen, or you're always being used by a person, you start to believe that that's how the world works. And that's why we get these videos about guys, or like me, like talking about how there are good men, and we have to convince people now that there are good people. Good people exist. Good men exist, is because at some point they didn't make the correction, and they started being treated in the way that they were representing themselves, and the way that they were allowing themselves to be treated. And so, with that said, I think that y'all know where we're coming from now. I'm going to get into these questions and these comments. I'm going to start scrolling down. It's a million hellos and a million hays, and I appreciate all of that. Somebody said, I can't wait. I've been binge watching your videos and telling people about your videos, how truthful and funny and sarcastic they are. At the same time, I appreciate you, Victoria. Now, we haven't done any guided discussions, so I don't know how this is going to pan out, but we're going to dig into it. Okay, so somebody said, hey, Kev, what's your... This is jumping around. Maria Renee Steban Lopez says, what is your opinion about how to set your standard without sounding desperate, because you need to put order for healthier relationships, and start with the right foot. So what's my opinion on how to set your standard without looking desperate? I don't think that you ever look desperate setting a standard. I think that's one of the biggest misconceptions and manipulations of the truth. I think people always think that, okay, if I complain about this thing, or if I mention this thing, or if I take issue with this thing, not only am I going to upset this guy, maybe I get demoted to put in a friend zone, or he just never talks to me again, but I'll look desperate for caring about a thing. And in fact, the inverse is true. You look desperate when you don't establish any standards, right? So if you're trying to establish standards without looking desperate, it works in the complete opposite way. You look desperate when you can refuse to have a standard, when you let people treat you how they want to treat you, when you let them establish your value and how to assess your value and how to treat you once they assess that value. Like when you allow people to treat you in a way that you're not treating them, in a way you're not willing to treat them, then that's what looks desperate. Like I was talking to a girl, just today, and it was like, I want this type of treatment, but I'm afraid to ask for it because I don't know if he'll leave. I don't know if he'll just stop talking to me, if he'll not want to be friends. I understand that, but he feels that too. If I can feel it as a third party, just listening to someone ask me a question, then that guy at the receiving end of all of this love and all this adoration, he feels it too. He understands that he seems to be the superior person in this relationship, and it's not necessarily about who's at the top and who's at the bottom, or who's in front and who's behind, or who's bigger, who's smaller. It's about making sure that two people are coming together with an equal respect and equal honor for each other. We can deal with the masculine and feminine roles of all of that later. Whether or not you think a man is the head or a woman is the head, whatever, like that doesn't even matter. There's supposed to be an equal establishment of respect and just honor, right? And a standard for how we treat each other when you enter a relationship. So you actually look, like, again, Maria, you actually look desperate, refusing to set a standard. At least if you speak up for yourself, then he knows you can't be run over, right? So I think just speaking up for yourself is the biggest and the easiest way to start building a standard into the relationships as they develop. If a guy's late for his first date or second date, you just pretend that it didn't happen because you don't want to look pressed. You ultimately train him to do what he did that time again and again and again. And ultimately, you take real issue with him, but by then you haven't developed a standard, and you have a bigger problem at that point, right? So just it's not necessarily important to say a thing right when it happens, because what's more important is that you articulate your ideas in a way that they can be best received. And sometimes you have to get to know your audience a little bit, but it's definitely important that you establish a standard by speaking up for yourself and always saying how you feel about things that you're not happy with. And not doing so makes you look desperate. It makes you look like a pushover. Somebody said, read the book, Why Men Love Bitches. That is actually a pretty good book. I got it. I read a little bit of it, but I've heard that it's an amazing book by so many people that that's why I have it, but I haven't read it. I don't read a lot of this stuff. Like a lot of people on YouTube, whether you're looking at fitness videos, whether you're looking at, I don't know what girls look at, makeup videos, well, whatever y'all look at, most people follow the culture of that particular genre. So makeup artists watch a bunch of makeup videos, and they do makeup videos because there's a trending topic or something like that. I don't do that. I don't watch other guys on YouTube. I try not to at the moment read a lot of relationship stuff, because what I don't want to do is regurgitate anyone else's brilliance. And right now I'm pretty sure of how I believe and what I believe, and I'm just trying to get my truth out here and build my information base, or my knowledge base, or my wisdom base. And so I don't want to regurgitate to you too much that I've heard, because I'm really actively trying to just seek knowledge in my own way, without watching so and so's channel and then replying to so and so's channel and trying to do the same topics that so and so did because he got a bunch of views. Like, I don't know what these guys are doing. I don't know none of these guys' names. That's not what I'm about. But back to the topic. Somebody said women who love and respect themselves will never put off a desperate vibe. A good man wants a woman who has high standards. That is absolutely true. If the man, again, is a good man wants to be around good people. A good person in general wants to be around that familiar energy. You want to be around someone who's genuine, someone who you can be your natural self with. And so, like I said, desperate vibes isn't about betraying your natural self, but we all have tendencies that are just flawed. They're just bad. And so when you do things that aren't helping you, and that are actually counterintuitive to what you want, and counterproductive, then making the correction is probably going to be your best bet. And that's not a betrayal of self. That's not keeping it real. It's just making sure that you can put your best foot forward, and you would do that anywhere. If you were making mistakes at work, not addressing your mistakes or not addressing your weak areas at work will get you fired. It's not a betrayal of self because you learned to do your job better. And it's not a betrayal of self if you make adjustments to make sure that your dating life goes a little bit smoother. Um, Somebody said, should you talk to somebody you're dating to but not exclusive with every day? If you like them, yeah, if you like them, let me see. As long as two people are, as it pertains to being desperate, as long as two people are both mutually interested in having conversations every day, let things flow as they will. As long as you enjoy his intellect and he's enjoying yours, and it's not you calling him 4 or 5 or 6 times a day, or it's just you always initiating. As long as it's a mutual exploration of each other's minds, then it's perfectly fine. But if your question was worded, should you call him every day, that would be a no. But as long as you're talking and it's two people who are enjoying themselves, just keep it going. Get to know each other, connect in that way. Someone said women need to be okay in being single. Use that time to become self-aware, reconnect with family, set goals, travel, and see the world. You will meet people from all walks of life. That's absolutely true. I think that one of the things that people do when they're desperate is that they find their identity in their relationships. So you're not Sarah Huxtable. I don't know. you're Sarah, Jim's girlfriend, right? And Jim's girlfriend becomes your identity, and you don't know how to be Sarah Huxtable. And this is a completely made up name, obviously, but you don't know how to be Sarah Huxtable outside of being Jim's girlfriend. So Jim breaks up with Sarah Huxtable, and all of a sudden she didn't have a damn clue about how to move on because she hadn't established enough of a life, enough of a routine, enough of an independence on her own. Everything revolves around when Jim gets home from work, or when I see Jim. It's going to be like you have to have your own plans, your own dreams, your own goals, your ambitions. You have to surround yourself with a tribe that is yours specifically. It's really sad when I meet women, excuse me, when I meet women whose whole life revolve around their relationship, and then when they break up, the guy takes all the friends with him. Or vice versa. I met men who've lost every guy, or not every guy, but like every person that they were acquainted with. They're like, oh, the wife took the friends. Like, how does she take the friends? These are people. So it's very important to have your own tribes and maintain your own sense of individuality. And not doing so creates desperation in you. Let me see. Somebody says, so is a friends with benefits situation desperate? No, I don't think a friends with benefits situation or an F buddy situationship is desperate if two people are looking for that exact thing. A friends with benefits situation is desperate when one friend wants a relationship and the other friend wants the benefits, and the one friend that wants the relationship gives up the benefits as payment for time with the friend that they're in love with. Because you can be somebody's friend, but that doesn't mean they're your friend. And I think that that's what a lot of women convince themselves is happening, is that, oh no, we're friends with benefits. And we're friends with benefits. So yeah, he wants to hit it, I'm gonna let him hit it. I get that. I understand it. And of course, women want sex. You don't have to explain that to me. I've turned down more ass than I can remember. So I understand that women want sex and they're sexual beings. I get that. But in a friends with benefits situation, that what I would consider desperate, it's a woman who wants more than benefits, who wants friendship, who wants a relationship, and a guy who wants benefits because he's attracted to the friend. In that situation, a woman will find herself paying for that man's time with sex, with favors, with money, with whatever she can do. And she's his friend. And I've talked to every day. I talk to women like this. She's his friend, but if you really look at if you quantify the relationship and you really pay attention to what's happening, he's not her friend, right? And so she thinks she's in a friends with benefits situation when really she's just a side chick, right? Trying to show her support, trying to do everything to be important to someone who really just doesn't find her that important. So that's when a friends with benefits situation is desperate. If two people who, again, have mutually established, a cuddy buddy situationship or an F buddy situationship, as long as both want the same thing, which is nothing or no strings attached, then no, it's not desperate. But anytime one person is paying for their time or space in that person's life, ass or gifts or money or support or car rides or handyman work or whatever, that's when it becomes desperate, right? And when people see that you're desperate for them, you're so desperate that you will pay, whatever that means, then they generally treat you as if you're beneath them, and the treatment generally gets worse. So it's never good to start a relationship from a place of servitude. Especially if you're more connected to that person than they are connected with you. People always say, say they were like, oh, no, it's cool. We have a connection, right? So I'll get a page. A woman will write me a page, and it'll be a page long of how this guy doesn't care about her. He doesn't seem to call her. He doesn't text her back. He's elusive. He ghosts her from time to time. But then she says, "Oh man, well, we just have such a connection." If you had a connection, then he would be also connected to you. What you mean is you're connected, right? And even worse, you're attached, but there's no connection. And I think people don't know the difference between connection and attachment, right? And so there's a point that you have to understand that, when you have a connection with someone, it helps you, right? It energizes you. It builds you up. Being connected to somebody mutually is powerful, right? It creates power. If you connect a plug into the wall, there's a power surge. There is an exchange of power. There's a sharing and a flow of energy. When you just attach yourself to someone, you're more like a parasite than a plug, right? And actually, when you're attached to somebody, it's more likely going to happen that they will suck you dry because you're attached to them. So it's almost like if you could suck a tick dry, or you could kill a tick because it was connected to you, because that you're desperately holding on to somebody who doesn't really want you but has found a use for you, right? And so they'll allow you to remain and as long as you remain useful. And I think that that's one of the most toxic situations that you can put yourself in. But again, it all starts from being desperate. So when people get in my comment sections and we're having this discussion about being desperate, and somebody says, you know what, I feel like you should just be yourself. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Or don't listen to no sorry ass man, capital MAN. That's one of those things where I would laugh, I suppose, but it irritates me a little bit more because they really don't know what people are encountering. They don't know what people are up against. They don't see the real lives. They're not talking to these women. And I talk to thousands of women a year. And this is what happens. Like, people are destroying their lives over, a desperate start to an otherwise healthy or potentially healthy relationship. And the way you start is the way you finish. And so that's why it's so important not to be desperate, or not to at least project desperation, because it doesn't do any good for you in the long run, because it generally attracts snakes to you, it attracts users to you, and attracts people who will use you for your resources, regardless of how they feel or if they're connected to you back. So we've dug into my desperate thing. I'll be answering questions, periodically about desperation. And if I see them in the comment section, I'll still answer them. But I wanted to make those points because I think that a lot of things are being missed. So with that said, ask me anything. We're moving on to all topics, and including desperation. But I wanted to have that. I just wanted to get some of that stuff out. Love and respect. All right, I'm gonna try to get up to the top, and we're gonna work our way down. God, that's a lot of questions. Okay. Somebody said, "Wow, because I'm nice, I'm desperate." That's just horrible to hear. I'm not sure who maybe y'all are having a conversation, but no, being nice isn't being desperate. It's just being nice. Being desperate is being desperate, and that means that could mean so many different things. That would be an hour-long video if I just did a video on all the things that you can do to be desperate, and why it's important not to do those things. But again, I don't have that type of time on my hands. And guys do the exact same things too. So it's not just a woman thing, but it's about building a healthy relationship from the very beginning, and to present yourself in a strong way that makes the person respect you from the beginning. Somebody says, I don't want to give out desperate vibes, but I have abandonment issues, and it's not always as simple as trying not to seem desperate. You're absolutely right, absolutely right. But if you have abandonment issues, you might want to seek some professional counseling for that, because you're projecting a lot of your needs and a lot of your emotional fears onto anybody that encounters you. So it doesn't have to be a guy that triggers your abandonment fears. You can be in a friendship. It could be a coworker leaving you when things are tough at work. Like it could be a lot of things can trigger an abandonment episode where you might have an anxiety attack, or you might be super down if you feel abandoned or left. And so I feel like professional counseling for real abandonment issues is probably the way to go. That way, you just have some understanding about your triggers. If you don't know your triggers, it's very easy to get yourself in a situation where you're giving off desperate vibes and you're being manipulated and abused and abandoned. And if you have abandonment issues, the last thing you want to do is elicit and encourage more abandonment with the wrong behavior. Um, Somebody says, boyfriend says he wants to pump the brakes and take time apart, desperate for help. Miss Gigglebox, really cool name, by the way, Gigglebox. If he wants to pump the brakes and take time apart, there's nothing you can do to convince a man. You cannot keep a man who does not want to be kept. And same for women. You like if somebody wants to be away from you, they for whatever reason feel overexposed. Um, you've worn out your welcome in so many words. There's no real nice way to say it. I mean, I'm sure there's a way to fluff it, but that's the truth, right? They've had enough of you for some reason, or they've had enough of obligation. So it might not be you, but obligation. Responsibility to a person sometimes drives a person crazy. Um, everybody's not what I consider trainable, right? Some people can train into a structured relationship and be okay, and then other people never. Oh, moderator just got in. It's all good, man. I didn't even notice. It's been good. We've been all right. But we're welcome. But yeah, some people can train into stable relationships and go very well, even if they're not used to that type of structure. That considering another person for every decision you make, having someone expect you home, at a particular time, being responsible to help co-manage the person's feelings and emotions, and because you're such a big part of what sways those, you want to make sure that you're responsible with your part, right? Some people don't. So Ms. Gigglebox, if he needs to pump the brakes and take time apart, it's because he's losing the ability for some reason or another to nurture in you what you need and what he needs. And it's not worth the effort to let a man drag you by his ankles, right? You don't want to go kicking and screaming. You just want to go and find somebody who doesn't need to be kept. Find somebody who doesn't need to be chained. Find somebody who's more adjusted to the structure of consideration and the obligations that you have when you're in a relationship. And it's not always inconvenient. I don't like the word obligation all the time because it generally has a negative connotation, as if these aren't things that you want to do. When you love a person, you want to help them, you want to be around them, you want to nurture them. Hold on. I didn't realize I could do that. I look funny when I drink water. My duck lips like do all kind of crap, so I'm gonna just cover my computer screen camera when I drink water, so I don't look funny. I'm tired of trying to dip off to the side. Anyway, so yeah, you can't keep them. Don't try. It's not even worth it. It will hurt, but I feel like if you found the right person, it'd be a loss worth having and worth taking. BYNC dating stories and advice. First of all, love and respect to you. Love and respect to your channel. I said, hello, it's been a while, just showing love. We appreciate you. I appreciate you too. And everybody, if you are Christian and you're tired of my cousin and whatever else you hate about me, it's all good. You can go to BYNC dating stories and advice, and that young woman, she talks about dating as it pertains to the mind of a Christian, of a devoted a spiritual person. So if y'all want to love and respect on somebody who are much more like y'all, that are safe for work at all times, y'all can go over to her channel and show her some love. Luxurious interior designs. Sounds like you got a business. Love and respect to you. Appreciate you. She said, do you think it's wrong to focus on your own personal growth when in a marriage for strength? uh, versus focus on the growth of the marriage if you have already been down that road and you got nowhere? Well, that's a good question. I believe it's never wrong to focus on your personal growth, but there are ways to focus on your personal growth most times with within reason, without the absence of or without the neglect of your relationship. I think that if you're like, I've known couples that somebody wants a job, well, I don't want to move, and then the wife moves to, whatever, Florida or something, right? Like that's a little bit much, right? And it's a lot that maybe a husband or a wife doesn't want to move and doesn't want to support that dream. But when like couples start separating to really chase their dreams and becoming individuals, right? And it's not a us, it's a me thing. That becomes very toxic. But at the same time, if you're not like separating yourself in that drastic of a way, and your focus is just required elsewhere for a while, I don't think it's that bad. And then when you say focus on the growth of the marriage, if you're married, I think you've grown to the a point that you're probably, you've grown enough, right? And what you might be saying is rebuilding the marriage if you've already been down that road and you got nowhere. If you feel like you've got nowhere, you're not necessarily trying to grow. You're just trying to get to a healthy place. And if it becomes a case of my goals versus rebuilding this relationship, I guess you just have to figure out and prioritize what means more to you. But at the same time, like you said, if you've already been down that road and you got nowhere, if you didn't get the cooperation and the effort from your spouse, and you kind of know your spouse after so many years, you know what they're going to do and what they're not going to do. You know what they're going to participate in, what they're going to focus on. People generally only improve when they're afraid, right? Or when they're desperate. So I don't think that if you've already been down that road, it's worth sacrificing your goals, dreams, or aspirations to visit again. But again, I don't know the inners of your relationship. There could be so much context missing that could be really bad advice. But I think that you're always supposed to build yourself up. You're always supposed to be moving in the direction of your dreams because it's still your life to live, right? You don't owe your life to anybody, and that might not be the most you know, Christian thing to say, but I don't believe that anybody owns you. I think that you still have to serve yourself at the end of the day, and within reason, nurture the things around you, especially when you're not being nurtured in those ways. You probably wouldn't be asking me that question if the man you went home to made you feel nurtured. Maybe y'all speak different love languages. Oh, look, I read a book. Maybe his effort has been lackadaisical. So that's something that could fall on his shoulders. But at the same time, try to do a little bit of both. If you care about your relationship, that would be more advantageous than not. Anytime you neglect a thing, it doesn't get better; it gets worse. I hope that helps. But again, I don't know enough about your relationship. I might need to speak to you. You might need to get a consultation or something so I can get a full understanding of what exactly you're going through. I'm gonna turn my damn ringer on because my moderator might be texting me and I won't know. Let me see. Somebody said, "Can I ask a question?" Then they said, "Please." Then they said, "Can I ask a question again?" And I'm Dar. You probably do better just asking your question because I might miss the actual question, but I've seen the three canines. It's all good. Just say what you got to say, and if I catch it, I catch it. If not, my moderator might let me know. Somebody said, setting a standard always scares a man away for some reason. It scares the wrong men away. Men who don't like responsibility or respect or honor or don't plan on serving the relationship with any integrity. They don't want standards. Think about it. If you don't like a person, do you really want to obligate yourself to doing anything for them? You don't, right? It's always going to be a chore to do the things that you don't want to do. When you care about somebody or you like somebody or the feelings are mutual, you look forward to trying to figure out the ways to make them happy. Like when you start a relationship as a guy, right, and the most masculine parts of you want to provide something, you want to protect that woman, but you also want to make her smile. You want to be the reason why she smiles, right? Just as a guy, learning a woman. That's why guys always try to tell jokes and be funny. It's just about bringing a smile to that woman's face, because you take that as a job. It's a challenge, and it's a responsibility that you have to make a person happy. It's what you think. It's not your responsibility to make people happy in life, but in a new relationship, you want to be responsible for her smiles, right? Or his smiles, and so that makes sense for most people. So when you set a standard, if a man can keep up your standards and do right by you, then he's going to feel like he's doing his job. So you setting standards won't scare him. I think some women have a negative idea of standards, because it sounds like you're giving a man the rules, and it's not about the rules. It's just about responding to good behavior and completely either ignoring or correcting terrible behavior or unsavory behavior. Man, I got hold on, dry mouth, do my thing. I need some more water. So yeah, if it scares men away, it scared the wrong men away. Hold on. My moderator's texting me, so I must be missing somebody who's going crazy. I'm missing a lot of people. I haven't really dug into the questions very much. Somebody said, Rosa, shout out to Rosa. She said, what do you think of dating sites like Plenty of Fish and Tinder? This is the wrong time to have a coughing fit. I feel like I got a piece of pepper in my throat. Plenty of Fish and Tinder. I don't really like Tinder. I'm familiar with Plenty of Fish. Excuse me, damn it. Plenty of Fish has been around for a while. I'm gonna drink some more water. I got all kind of water here. Do my thing. I may need to gargle. God, my bad. But Plenty of Fish has been around for a while. I'm completely okay with Plenty of Fish. It reminds me of a bootleg MySpace or a bootleg Black Planet, or pick a dating site, right? It's been around for a while. It's a hookup site for the most part, but it leaves room for people to meet. A little bit more, I guess, less pointed in a sexual direction. Tinder started out as a hookup site. Tinder started out as, hey, you want to bang? I want to bang. Okay, let's meet up. Like, Tinder was literally, you swipe left to bang. Like, that was the marketing and the premise of it. It's why it was like, I don't even look at it. It's like Fire or some briquettes or something. Like, Tinder is like, Tinder ass is what it was short for. Tinder ass, right? So I don't like Tinder. I'm not fond of Tinder, because people they're trying to make it a relationship site, and I don't think that it was built with that in mind. You literally look at a person's face and swipe if they're good enough, right? And it starts your connections with people on the most shallowest of terms. Like, you're not looking at that person's thoughts or quotes or their ideas or their beliefs, their passions, and say, oh yeah, this person might be cool. You're literally looking at a person's face or their profile picture, like, oh, they're sexy, I'd hit it, swipe left. And then you're trying to build out of that something substantial. It's kind of backwards. Unless Tinder starts adding, and I don't know, because I don't use Tinder. I could be completely wrong, but as far as I know, Tinder, and correct me if I'm wrong, Tinder is where you go and you look at a person's face or a picture and you swipe yay or nay, right? You're not looking at the thoughts or anything that builds a picture of who they are. You're just looking at their face, their shell, right? And I never forget that we are spirits with bodies, not the inverse, not the other way around. We are not bodies with spirits. We are spirits with bodies. And for a Tinder to start with a complete disregard of everything that makes a person who they are, while it's cool if you just want to hook up, and if you're on Tinder for some Tinder, then it's a perfectly good use for it. But if you're on Tinder for trying to find something substantial, starting with "I like your face" can be counterintuitive. And we all do it. You're going to look at profile pictures regardless, but at least something else is being presented to you. So I'm really not a big fan of Tinder just because I know how it started and what it meant. Tinder was on bunch of axe men websites and a bunch of men websites many years ago before people tried to make it a dating website. Tinder was on all these men. It was like the top hookup websites, like Tinder. You just call a girl over to your house and bang her. Tinder, like that was the marketing of it. They paid for advertising space on a bunch of men's websites, and they were advertising, like I said, Tinder ass. Hit something, go get some booty, and that's what you could do on Tinder. And so now people try to make it a dating website. I'm just not in support for real. Um, Man, I know I'm missing all kind of questions, but we're gonna get into it. Somebody said, I've I've not been with a man in 4 years. I thought I wanted to just sleep with a guy, but I realized that I do not want that. I work long hours and I'm raising my 6-year-old daughter. Lonely. Sounds lonely. You didn't ask a question, but I hear that all the time. All the time I hear that. People don't know what they want, but they know they feel lonely. But you know what? You'll have the life you work for, not the life you hope for. So you have to start trying to figure out how to add something to your life and to your daughter's life. And not that she needs a man or you need a man, but just consider that that man will have some influence over your daughter if it becomes something real. So, and I don't think that you have that you have to be told that, but just with your 6-year-old daughter, dating is a much more complicated scenario for a single mother. And so it makes sense that you're lonely and you haven't been with a man for 4 years because you have so much more to consider. But I respect a responsible mother who would rather be lonely than to bring toxic men around her daughter. So respect and love to you. But there are things you can do. It takes a little bit more effort, a little bit more focus, but you can't find a guy, especially unfortunately with just one 6-year-old daughter. The more kids a woman has, the harder it is to get a man in the house, unfortunately. You just got one 6-year-old daughter. She's still in cute. She's still cute age. She's still not like a teenager. Men run from teenage girls, so you still have some good years that you can find a guy that won't be intimidated by that. But I wish you nothing but love and respect and the best. Let me say something. Somebody said, question. I'm not gonna beat your name up. All media. Oh, okay, that's the easy word. I'm sorry. All media lead asked him. She said, "Is he interested in me and believes in being polygamous?" Is he interested in me and believes in being polygamous? I told him that I don't believe in that, but I understand how his views are different. Why does he still ask to hang out? Because he's courting you for a relationship. He's courting you to be a second wife, or however many wives he has. Polygamy, for people who don't know what that is it's basically plural relationships, plural marriages. There's one official wife, and then there are other wives who are basically just spiritual in nature. And if he doesn't believe in that at all, he just is just a guy with a bunch of girlfriends. It just depends on what his beliefs are. Anyway, you said is he why is he interested in me? Uh, he's still dating you and he's still courting you, even though you told him you're not interested in polygamy, because he knows if he sticks on you or if he stays on you about it and he stays in your life, you'll change your mind. People get used to a lot of things. People get used to poverty. People get used to third world conditions. People get used to their lights cut off and their power being cut off. People get used to hellacious conditioning, and people also get used to certain relationship structures that they never thought that they would be in. Polygamy being one of them. A lot of the women who are in polygamous relationships or plural relationships tell me, "Oh my God, I never thought I would be doing this, but here I am." Right? And I've met a handful of those since I started doing this. Not a lot of them, but I met a lot of the ones I knew, which is a handful. I speak to thousands of women. I probably talked to about 15 of those women who, was okay with that, right? And then some who were being invited. But yeah, he's still hanging out with you. He's still trying to court you for a relationship because he knows, or he at least thinks, that you'll change your mind about being in a plural relationship and being one of his women if you fall in love with him, because women do that all the time. Women are the other women. Let me see. I don't know what the percentages are, but I would have to guess that 25 to 30% of women are already in polygamous relationships. They're just not participating in it. They just don't know it. Every woman being cheated on and every other woman getting banged at work is in a polygamous relationship. Every other woman who's in a car getting tapped or in a closet getting tapped because a guy can't take her home, or meeting at hotels, meeting in restaurant parking lots. Y'all in polygamous relationships. It's just not all y'all not willing parties, right? It's but y'all sharing D, right? And if you sharing D, you in a polygamous relationship. Um, I respect people who go into these polygamous or these plural relationships from a place of being in the know and being all in agreement about what's going on, and being one with it. I think plural relationship, while people have all of these ideas about the structure of how a relationship is supposed to work, or the kinds of love, I think there's so many different structures and kinds of love. I respect the polygamous relationships because at least people are being honest about needing more than one person, needing more than one source of love. All the other women I speak to on a regular basis, um, they have a harder road because they're trying to overcome a man's desire to be with the woman he's been with, and they're trying to earn their keep with him at the same time. And then there's always another woman hurting at the other end of that. And so I was just having this conversation about 20 minutes ago before I got on live with a person. And so I don't mind polygamous relationships because they're honest, and that's much more than we can say for a lot of people creeping around. But yeah, he thinks you're going to be his other woman, and you're going to move in and be in a polygamous relationship with him most likely. So he's not gonna stop talking to you. You're going to have to stop talking to him if that's not what you truly want. Somebody said, "How do you pick up yellow and red flags from men when you have not been in a dating game for a while?" Yellow flags. It's interesting. No one ever said yellow flags, so yeah, maybe that you've been watching some other YouTube videos, and there's some new verbiage. I don't never be up on the whole dating. People be saying stuff all the time, and I'm like, what does that mean? It's because I don't, like I said, I don't keep up with this genre. I get on here, I make my videos, and then I get off and I do other stuff. And so I'm not hip to yellow flags, but she said, "How do you pick up yellow and red flags from men when you have not been in the dating game for a while?" I guess educating yourself, watching things like this, just getting into a place where you know what to expect from people, or at least you know what's happening, and the situations that people are getting themselves in. You don't become a master by reading books, right? Like, you can't go to college and know how to do a thing. You have to do it. And so there will be some bumps in the road. It's not an easy transition to make, not dating to dating. But it's a necessary evil to start your life again. Don't worry so much about having all the answers or picking up everything. Just listen to your intuition. What makes you feel good? What makes you feel right? What do you have peace about? And if a man does something that doesn't give you peace, then you need to back away. As long as you have peace and you feel good and you feel like you're being respected and served, you can move forward. And intuition is the biggest ruler, yardstick, barometer, whatever you want to call it, that we have, and it's the most efficient. And so just listen to your intuition until you start recognizing tendencies. But you're gonna have to date, and you're gonna make a few mistakes. Just don't make any of them. Don't make any mistake that's gonna provide any emotional damage. A lot of women get right into they think that, okay, well, I need sex. I haven't had sex in a long time, so they get with a guy that they don't think is going to provide anything emotionally for them, and then they end up falling in love with him. But he's like, "No, you just said you was going to give it up, and that's what I want, and that's it." And so then you end up in one of those friends with benefits situations that isn't really that. So I hope that helps. But I guess just brush up on your relationship knowledge, watch some videos like this, and then just do your best to feel every moment of your dates and your interactions with men, as long as everything feels right, not feels good, but feels right. Continue moving forward. I tried to gargle. I don't know if it worked. I feel like I got a piece of pepper in my throat. Serious. Somebody said it's trending. Somebody said, "I have a question. What do you think of this news trend of women posting videos of imitating giving head on cucumbers?" Whoa. I'm gonna read that again. Somebody said, "I have a question. What do you think?" Or maybe I don't know who asked this question. Said, "What do you think of this new trend of women posting videos of imitating giving head on cucumbers?" I think that if that's what you want to put out there, then hey, enjoy yourself. I think that these challenge videos are just kind of stupid. I've never been a follower, so I've never respected the mob mentality. Um, and even when I find myself agreeing with too many people at a time, I kind of like got to sit back and be like, all right, is this real? And like I have to really adjust my idea to make sure that it comes from me and not the crowd, like the what they say, the group think, right? I'm not a fan of any of these challenges. Hold on. Uh, oh, my moderator's asking him. I'm not a fan of any of these challenges because I feel like, um, again, the group think becomes the overwhelming energy, and a bunch of women giving fellatio to cucumbers. It has a bunch of women looking like that's just what they do. And unfortunately, when a man's dating you, he doesn't want a picture in another man's cucumber going in your mouth. It's a bad start. And it might say, he might think, oh, wow, she looks like she does that very well. But then he has to figure out, well, how she gets so good at it. How many cucumbers did it take for her to develop those skills? Wait a minute. I don't want to take her in public. I don't want to take her to the mall. These guys that, she learned on might be coming up for hugs. And like, I'm a guy who cares about a woman's sexual history. So for me, it's just, it looks just, it's just stupid. But that's me. I'm funny acting like that. I don't want to go behind a lesser man. I just don't. And you just don't know whose cucumber she was practicing on. And I think that many of them should be embarrassed because they want something substantial and they want a man who feels like a king or who feels like a man of respect. And no man of respect wants his woman on the internet uh, giving fellatio or whatever. So I ain't into it. But that's just me. But I'm funny acting. But I'm married, so it don't matter what I think. I'm just a man, capital MAN anyway. So I don't have no opinion. Somebody says, how does a man? This is a good one. Somebody says, how does a man act when he doesn't feel good enough for a woman? And how should the woman be towards him if she's interested without seeming desperate? Okay, so that's an interesting one because when a man doesn't feel good enough, I suppose you'd have a longer leash to do whatever you would consider desperate. But when the man doesn't feel good enough for you, um, again, don't do things that you can't keep up. Don't do things that aren't in your nature to do in the long run. Like a lot of times when you start these relationships, again, they meeting your representative, but your representative is amped up. Your representative calls every day. Your representative cooks every single day. Your representative lays down in bed with them every day. Your representative does their hair, does their makeup, and keeps them clothes and their body together every single day. Your representative's at the gym. Your representative's doing all this crap, but your representative is going away in about 3 months. And when they meet the real you, the person who doesn't go to the gym, who periodically lets herself go, gains 30 pounds, who doesn't do her makeup, who gets a bit antisocial, especially around the time of the month, who's a bit snappy, who doesn't cook every day. Like when they meet the real you, uh, those feelings of not being good enough will be resurfaced because he'll feel like, oh my God, she did all of this stuff to make me feel good enough, and I felt good enough for a while, and now she's letting me know how she really feels about me. She doesn't do anything. She must not care about me, and because I don't care about me and I don't feel good enough already, the change in tempo will reaffirm my original fears that I'm not good enough for her and that she doesn't really care about me. And so it's very difficult to thread that needle between dating a man who's insecure and also nurturing in him confidence without giving him so much that you misrepresent what you're going to do for him. Because if you have to take that away, if he has abandonment issues or he has trust issues, when he sees that change of pace, he's going to be even more down on himself or even more unsure about his place in your life. So just be very careful not to overcompensate for his lack of confidence and his insecurity with your actions. Be what you are, stay in your nature, but don't overcompensate. When a man doesn't feel good enough, um, that's a harder one. That has a lot less to do with men and more to do with individuals. So when certain individuals don't feel good enough, they generally are more distant. They don't do they don't do very well. Hold on, I might have another. I might have missed something. Hold on. Oh wow, I missed a $2 super chat. Some as McKay said, thank you for your $2 super chat. I appreciate you. She said, awesome advice. I appreciate you and your $2 super chat. YouTube, for whatever reason, doesn't show the $2 super chats on the top, but I appreciate it. And my wife always makes sure, my moderator always makes sure that we see it. But yeah, I guess that's a bigger question. What a man does, or how does a man act when he doesn't feel good enough? Maybe I'll do a video on that soon, but I know it's a larger conversation than I can answer right now. But good question though. Somebody said, hold on. I'm gonna just I'm trying to skip around. I'm all over the place now. I don't know what. I don't know what I missed at this point. Somebody said, think you answered my question. Don't change for anybody. Hold on. I think my moderator got me on something. Okay, I got a couple. My moderator says, oh, well, she didn't say. She sent me a question. Rosemary Hunter, she said, I don't know what to do about my ex. He drives me crazy with inconsistency, so I broke up 3 times with him. He still spends money, time on me, but says he doesn't want a relationship because his money is time. Well, okay. Well, that's what's up. If he's spending money and time with you, then he might care about you. If you land down with him, then he likes that too. I think you got a relationship without obligation because of the history that you have. And sometimes, that's a structure of relationship that people prefer. And some people can keep that up for many years. He has the freedom that he wants. And, he has enough of you that he doesn't feel like he's losing anything. And so if you broke up with him 3 times, I'm not sure why you want a relationship. It seems like you get more from him when he has something to prove or when he has to earn his place in your life. Again, sometimes we're so like we're so connected or so stuck on the structures of relationships that we understand to be common, right? We understand marriage, we understand dating, right, and we understand a relationship, right, a girlfriend and boyfriendship. But there are so many other structures, right? Relationships are more liquid than a solid sometimes, and so while there are general ideas that we want to, in general standards that we want to keep, in general ethics, relationships are liquid. They're not solids. They take many structures, um, and so don't get yourself into a position where you're destroying your relationships based on maintaining a structure as opposed to maintaining your joy and maintaining your peace and maintaining your happiness. But it sounds like y'all having a good time if he's still around you and y'all still kicking it. But again, I don't know enough about your relationship to really go any further than that because he could be a scoundrel and that's why you broke up with him 3 times. I don't know. Somebody said, I'm a bit paranoid about liking or complimenting guys in high school. She said, in high school, guys were so childish. If one person cracked jokes about me crushing, guys will go nuts. So from your negative high school experience about immature people, now you don't. Now you're a little bit paranoid about liking and complimenting guys. The difference is, in high school, there's always a crowd of people or a group of people, and so if somebody cracks a joke, they're cracking a joke to entertain the group. And unfortunately, you seem to have been a butt of some of those jokes. Adults generally don't work that way. Even the same guys years later don't work that way. I don't want you to be ruled by your fear of being humiliated. Like, if you meet a guy and he seems to be a quality guy, but you refuse to talk to him or make conversation with him or compliment him or just show him that you've seen him, and then some other guy sees you and approaches you, and you just go with that guy because he approached you. Did you pick that guy, or were you chosen? And if you're going to allow yourself to be chosen, you can't choose who choose. Like, you don't know who's going to come up to you. Like, you have no control over the guys that come up to you, but you do control the guys that you interact with on purpose to give them an opportunity to come up to you or give them opportunities to talk to you. So that goes along the lines of what I was always talking about when I tell women, you got to take some control. You don't have you really don't have the liberty, especially in what women always say, it's so rare to find a good man, or they're no good men, or they're only a couple, or whatever they say. It's not a lot of good men left. If there are not a lot of good men left, and when you meet a guy that you are for whatever reason want to compliment or talk to, please at least make yourself available socially to the guy. Don't necessarily come on to him, but damn, like, because if you're waiting for the guys to talk to you, and I know this isn't your question, but if you waited for a guy to talk to you because you're afraid that somebody's going to crack a joke about you complimenting the guy, then you don't know who's going to come up to you. Like, you don't know who. And a lot of times the most aggressive guys um, are usually the most whorish men. And so women often narrow their dating life down to only the men that approach them, without realizing that in most dating ecosystems, the men who approach the most women are generally the whores. And so, if 100 men approach you, that it quite possibly could be 80 men who approach a lot of women because that's what they do, and the men who don't approach a lot of women because they just don't have that type of idea about women. They don't see women that way, or as a conquest, or they're just afraid, or they're trepidatious, or they're not hounds. Those men are get looked at as less than because they won't talk to a woman. But those men might sleep with 5 to 10 women in a lifetime, and these guys that are approaching every woman are sleeping with hundreds, and these women are encountering those 100 men thinking all men are dogs, when really she just slept with 40 guys because they approached her and not the other way around. Rosemary Hunter, I didn't lay with him. I do love him. He said we jumped too fast at first. Um, Man, I can't. Okay. Let me see if I can find your original comment, Rosemary. Okay, she said, I don't know what to do about my ex. Okay, so thank you for your super chat, Rosemary. She said um, she didn't lay with him. She don't lay with him. She do love him, and he said y'all jump too fast. Well, if y'all like still kicking it, and for whatever reason you've broken up with him 3 times, or he's broken up with you 3 times, and he doesn't want a relationship, you got to figure out what type of structure you want in your relationship. And if a liquid relationship isn't something you want, and you want a solid relationship, you want something that you can put a title on, and he's not offering that, you got to figure out how much of this elusive type of relationship you can tolerate. Because I'm not sure that it does you any good to want more and not receive it. You just always feel like you're getting an inadequate dose of love. So. Um, Figure out what you want, and then figure out how long you have before you got to do something about not getting it. But doing nothing will get you nothing. Broken J, how you doing, Broken J? Say, hey Kev, I'm on a journey of learning self-love, but still struggle with comparing myself. How do I believe that a good man should choose me? Um, and thank you for the super chat, and thank you for the super chat. Deeper consciousness, give me €5. I appreciate that, because euros are bigger than US dollars. So shout out to you. I'm gonna get to your question right after I get to Broken Jade. So she said, "How do I believe that a good man should choose me?" Broken Jade, I think that I should probably speak to you one on one, to be honest, because I don't know what moves you. I don't know what's motivating you, and I don't know what your experiences are. And to really attack the idea of self love, you really need to know what a person is encountering and what a person's challenges are. And so I don't want to not give you an answer, especially since you gave me a $5 super chat. Shout out to you, love. But I want to make sure I give you the answer that helps you. I'm not a lip service guy. Some of these guys that give you something. I want to make sure what I give you is actionable and it helps. And so Write me on Instagram. Put a bunch of emojis in the first two lines just so I know it's you, Broken Jay. And give me a bit more of the backstories, and I get with you on that. But I probably need to talk to you one on one to understand what exactly you're lacking in the self love category. Deeper consciousness, IKYG. Shout out, love. Thank you for your super chat, €5. She says, I recently met someone and he invited my kids and I to an arcade and paid for a few games. However, I had to buy the food. Do you think he should have paid? Mm, I guess. If listen, first of all, yes, if he invited you and your kids anywhere, he should have paid. Now, if he invited you and you brought your kids, uh, no, he should have paid. I don't think that you should have had to buy the food, but I don't know what his logic is, and I don't know if he would have paid if it not been kids. But I think that if a man wants to display his ability to provide and his ability to nurture children, then he should probably pay. Like I didn't. It seemed like he was making it seemed like he was making a statement to invite you and your kids to an arcade. Well, oh man, it's gonna be cool. This guy likes our mom. He's gonna hook us up. And then he's like, I ain't paying for y'all. No, I don't know. I think that was a little bit. I think that was ill-advised of him. I think it was dumb. I think he should have paid if he invited you. Anytime you invite somebody or anybody invites you, they should pay. I don't understand people who invite somebody and then be like, all right, you got the paper, don't you? Got the money? Like I don't get that. So no, he absolutely should have paid. And I would wonder if he's one of those people who counts every dollar and counts every favor. That will be my biggest fear with him is that he's a type of person who does things and he keeps counts of his favors. He keeps count of his gestures. I can't accuse him of that. But the people I know who find a way to skimp on trying to figure out how to put in the most are generally keeping score and keeping track. And you don't want to be in a relationship with somebody keeping track. So he may or may not be that, but you have to find out. You're going to have to do some more investigating if you still find him attractive or you still find him interesting enough after he didn't pay for your kids. Um, I don't think he's obligated to pay for your kids if y'all just meet up or something like that. Or you're like, hey, we're going to the arcades. Like, I'm going too. Should I see y'all there? Then that's cool. But if he invited y'all on a date, then he's supposed to pay. He's supposed to pay for that. AJ came from a moderator a minute ago. She said, I have another question. Oh, I already got you. People will be mad. She got two questions. She said, I had another question. How can a woman learn to trust herself again with making the right decision about men after abusive relationship? Well, the thing is your decisions build trust in you. Like you get confident based on making better decisions, right? So if you meet an abusive man or you meet a man who for whatever reason is unsavory or undesirable, the confidence that you get from just removing him from your life will start to make you trust your decisions again. Women don't trust their decisions when they do things that aren't advantageous to them, and they continue to live in those situations. And so the easiest way to rebuild trust in yourself is to do things that are advantageous, and do things that go in line with what you want and what you're looking for. And so if you meet another man and you feel like he's untrustworthy, um, instead of letting him screw you over two or three times, the first time he screws you over and it's confirmed that that's what he did, you move on, right? You have to just pick your cutoff game up. Like you have to learn how to walk away, and learning how to walk away, when to walk away, and committing to that. Instead of trying to manipulate a man's decisions and behaviors with silent treatments and no context and all that crap. If you just walk away and be done with a person when they show you who they are, then you'll start to trust yourself more. And then when you get into a relationship, you already have it built in you to take appropriate action when it's needed. But because you haven't done that in the past, you don't trust that you will do it. And so it takes baby steps. It takes you seeing those small victories, not taking shit on a day-to-day basis, on a regular basis, calling out BS when it comes to you. And I think that's mostly how to do it. But you have to start being the person that you wish you are. So whatever the strongest version of you is, I don't care what you name her, but name her something. What would she do if this happened to her? Because you were in an abusive relationship and you watched what you would do at your weakest point, and you want to identify with the stronger version of yourself. You want to identify with a version of yourself that doesn't put up with that and doesn't get treated like that. So I don't care if you got a nickname or what, but what would that person do? What would a stronger woman do in this situation? And do that until you can trust that you're making these decisions. But it's all you. The desire to have better, it lives in you already. So it's not that you're pretending to be somebody else. You're just exploring the darker parts of your mind, the more unexplored parts, right? And so it is you. You are strong enough. You can do it. You have the desire because that desire lives in you. It's because it's part of who you are, and you feel like you're betraying yourself when you're not that. And you did that for a while, and you were in an abusive relationship. I get that, but you don't have to do the things that you did yesterday tomorrow. And that's how you build confidence. Just start making those daily adjustments, correcting things as they happen until you realize that you're capable of doing that. Rada Warren. First of all, thank you. Love and respect and appreciation. She gave me a 199 super chat. YouTube doesn't care about it, but I care about it. So thank you so much for your 199 super chat because you ain't had to do it and you just give me love. So appreciate you. She said, I love your chats. Christine Joy. How you doing, Christine Joy? Love and respect to you. Thank you for the $10 super chat. I really appreciate it. Again, y'all don't have to do that, but it's just love and respect. And somebody stole my damn car this week, so everybody's super chat is about to help me get another car. Help me pay for the one I just had to replace it with. God, I don't even want to talk about it. I'm about to mess my own mood up. Anyway, thank you so much, Christine Joy. I got another car though. She said, I'm having trouble with getting over my ex. I've tried everything. It's like a drug addiction. I'm obsessed. I feel like someone casted a love spell curse on me. Damn it. That's rough, man. Um, I would probably have to talk to you though. Like I don't know exactly what your ex did, and I know that's toxic. Everything you just said was absolutely toxic. As far as addiction, obsessed, love casted a spell, crush on me. Like that's toxic. So none of that stuff is good, clearly. But I don't know what's causing it, and I'm not sure if you for whatever reason associated your ex with a larger idea or bigger sensation that maybe he can't even be responsible for. Sometimes when people have abandonment issues, they have an attachment to somebody, and they realize that that attachment isn't even that person. They're attached to the thing that person represents. Right. So some people have loneliness issues or abandonment issues, and they attach themselves to a person, but they really don't give a damn about that person. They just need a relationship. That's why a lot of people are serial daters. It's because some people have abandonment issues or fears of deep-seated fears of loneliness. And so instead of being alone, they much rather be in a toxic environment. I don't feel like that's you, just making that point because it exists. But as far as your ex, I would really have to learn about that situation. It will probably, and I don't want to not give you an answer for your super chat, but I don't have enough detail about what brought you to this place, and I want to make sure that I'm giving you responsible advice or responsible perspective. It'd probably be good for you to either write me on my website, get some email advice, or better yet, a consultation. You probably should talk to me on the phone, and so we could kind of figure out what exactly is going on. Because I don't know that there's a perfect answer for you, but I know that I don't have enough context in that paragraph. Or anything you could write in super chat that would give me enough to make sure I was uh, giving you decent enough advice. But I can say this. Hold on. Um, we have to be in love with ourselves. And as much as people hate it, you should be obsessed with your own well-being. People draw all of these conclusions about people who love themselves. Oh, they're not chauvinist, but you're stuck up. You're pompous, you're this, you're that. There are all these negative words to describe someone who loves themselves or who concerns themselves with their own affairs. But there are all the same people who seem to despise what looks to be an unsavory level of self-love will come to you and say, "Oh, you should love yourself. Oh, you miss your ex-boyfriend. You should, girl. You're too good for him. You're too good for that." They will give you all that stuff. But if you were in a healthier position, they would say, "Oh, she's a bitch. She thinks she's all that. She thinks she's better than us." Blah 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 blah. Right. So you're not necessarily trying to get from one extreme to another, right? So I don't say it's toxic because you don't love yourself. I say it's toxic because you have an attachment to someone who, if I can just tell by the tone, doesn't have that same attachment to you, and may not even have a regard for your emotions. And so, you have to be your biggest fan. You have to be your biggest supporter. You have to be on your side at all times. And um, it doesn't feel like in this situation, it's like a drug addiction. I'm so obsessed. Love spell curse. It doesn't feel like you care anything about your own regard. I feel like you've literally disregarded anything that has to do with your health and happiness. You know, minus whatever efforts that you're going through to get help, obviously. And I think this is a good first step. Just asking somebody and seeing somebody. But you don't feel. I don't feel like your comment is a healthy comment, and I don't know why you're so obsessed with that person, but I know that that's not a good thing, and you should probably remove that person from your life because there's nothing that they can provide you from a place of obsession outside of more dependency. In fact, it usually sends people into a depressive spell, and a lot of people, start talking suicide and all of these things. And I speak to people. I speak to a lot of suicidal people, and many of these people who I speak to who are suicidal come from a place of obsession and addiction to a person or a relationship in general. And so I'm hoping that you don't struggle with depression. I'm hoping that you don't struggle with other with areas of self love in other ways because it's a very very toxic mix to be obsessed with someone and not to love yourself enough. And like I said, I talk to a lot of suicidal people who experience that same combination, and generally they end up in hospitals or attempting to hurt themselves. And so, not to put you on blast, but just for anybody who feels obsessed with a person, especially if the relationship's not going well and you don't feel yourself being able to separate to the point that you feel like it can put you in a dark place, no one man should have all that power. It's probably more important for you to start a whole new routine. Whatever you are doing right now, do some different crap. Go to a different school, get to a different job, start some different hobbies, pick up some different skills. Like you need to change your life. You need to you need to get to a place to where your routine doesn't look familiar to you. It gives you something else to focus on. It builds new relationships around you. It gives you your life and your day to day existence just new energy. And I think that if you're sitting in the same old energy, doing the same old things, it's very difficult to separate yourself from old ideas and old relationships. So you have to, in essence, start a new life. Just to erase the energy in the air around this relationship that you're so attached to. Um, I can give you that much in general, but I would like to know, exactly what you're up against. So if you did want to have a consultation, you can go to www.girltalkwithguys.com. You can get email advice or consultation more specific to your direct needs instead of me trying to give you a general explanation from a paragraph. Love and respect to you. I appreciate your question. Thank you. Um, Let me see. Good gracious. Yeah, somebody said thanks for giving us thanks for giving us no date on a Saturday night having asses video. Saturday night having asses a video. Yeah, no date on a Saturday night having asses. I'll be thinking about that. Sometimes y'all notice I come on Fridays or I come on Saturdays for people who don't have no date. I'm always showing love to them. Man, I don't do nothing. Like even when I was single, man, I was not. I hit the club like 3 weeks in a row, and then I'd be done with the club. I was not trying to figure out how to damn hang out at the club all the time. So it's really just not imperative. It's never been for me to be out on Saturday or Friday. I just like the peace and quiet of not having to go to work the next morning. Um, Michelle Michelle Bove, or Bovey, or forgive me. Just forgive me and beat that up. But hey, Michelle, shout out to you. Shout out. Thank you so much for your $5 super chat. It's greatly appreciated. Uh, it's going into they stole my damn car this week jar. Um, Somebody said dating a guy say he's not wasting time, but doesn't want to rush in a relationship, and I don't know how to read it. If he's not wasting your time and he doesn't want to rush into a relationship, um, and you seem to want a relationship, it looks like you might be interested in a relationship, but he's saying he doesn't want to rush into a relationship. I wouldn't rush into bed with him. I feel like I was having this discussion with somebody earlier. Um, Guys always talk about, oh man, let's not rush, let's not rush. You want to hit it on the first night or the second night, and then you talk about you don't want to rush. Well, if we're not rushing, we don't need to be rushing nothing. Like, so the whole relationship needs to be going at the same pace. And I think that's the difference between some of the women who make it to the relationship phase, and a lot of women who get in these situationships, bang for a couple of months, and then have to find somebody else to start all over again. It's that they let men rush the sexual part because y'all have needs, blah blah blah. Some of y'all need to learn how to touch yourselves. I'm done with this shit. Like, women have needs, yes, so do men. And a 17-year-old boy is the most horny being alive. And guess what they do? They rub one out, right? They don't just go lay down with somebody because they like them, and then So I think that women would do a lot less damage to themselves if they would let these guys progress the relationship, like progress all areas of the relationship at the same pace, instead of like, okay, you can get the booty, but then we're going all this title stuff and emotional connection stuff and spiritual connection stuff and consideration and obligation. We can take our time on that, but you can hit it though. Like, if there was a correct way to do that, it would be like if you're like when your phone syncs all your contacts, or when your climate control system syncs all the different temperatures in the different areas of the. You need to sync the sexual part of the relationship with the rest of the part of the relationship so that it progresses at the same time. If a guy wants to take his time, that's completely fine. Let's take our time, and while we're taking our time, we're taking our time with this too. So as long as it's your goal to just have sex with a woman and not be with her, right? You're gonna have to take your time with somebody else, or you're gonna have to speed walk with somebody else. And I think that y'all need to connect those two instead of letting people segregate and compartmentalize parts of the relationship with y'all. And then y'all get mad when y'all don't ever get the relationship. I understand, and I want y'all to get everything y'all want, and not just some of what y'all want. And I know everybody want some sexual pleasure, but when a man don't have to give you nothing in exchange for that, you generally don't get past that. And so it's not about controlling women's bodies. It's about making sure that people have what they are looking for. I think I just lost my little super chat. I don't know what happened to her. Rada gave me $5 and she didn't say nothing. She didn't say nothing at all. Just shout out, Rada. Rada Ramenza. I appreciate your super chat. I just lost that other super chat. It just disappeared. I don't know if I answered the question. So I'm gonna try to find that other super chat. Renee, can you send me that last super chat that was up, the last two? Because I don't know if I answered the lady's question, or the young woman's question before she got off of there. It disappeared before I was talking too much. Uh, while I wait for that, shout out to Holly Dorsey. Oh, didn't even do nothing. Didn't even say nothing. Just 9.99 super chat. I appreciate you. God bless America. Thank you so much for the super chat. Again, y'all don't got to do it, but people who thank me with their actions, I always appreciate that, because I try to thank people with my actions. There was no Holly Dorsey question is in the comments. Holly Dorsey, somebody said Holly Dorsey's questions is in the comments. I'm about to look up. I'm about to look for Holly Dorsey's question. Okay, I got your question, Holly Dorsey. Somebody said, I need help. Or Holly Dorsey, I'm sorry. Holly Dorsey said, I need help. I really like the guy at work who dated me for months. He turned around and dated my friend who sits next to me. We confronted him because he's disrespectful. How do I move on from the rejection? I suppose if you can't separate yourself, obviously you can't separate yourself. I don't know where you work at, maybe a cubicle office or something. Let me see. I really like the guy at work who dated me for months. He turned around and dated my friend. It was just next to me. Well, what kind of friend is that? I think that I believe, I don't know a lot about girl code, right? But I would believe that if a guy's dating you for many months and then your friend dates him, she's in violation of girl code. Now, maybe you're using the word friend when you mean coworker. I think that that's what's happening here. You're using the word friend when you mean acquaintance, because no friend is going to watch you hurt over a guy and then start tapping him or dating him. I think that's just ridiculous. It's very difficult for you to get over this because you have to encounter these people every day. So unless you get a transfer, unless you switch seats or switch cubicles or however you have to move away from them, probably being next to them every day isn't going to be the easiest way to get over that. My wife watches a lot of soaps, and consequently, because she watches them, I see them, and I have to watch them from time to time. And they watch them at my job on lunch break, so I know what's going on the Bold and Beautiful and the what's that, the Young and the Restless, just because I can't get away from the crap, right? Um, but on there, generally on TV shows, everybody's sleeping with everybody, and everybody's having a new relationship. Every 5 minutes, two people are breaking up, and then their brothers and sisters and cousins and exes are getting with them, and everybody's fine. They all go to the family reunions, and nobody cares. It's like everybody breaks up, and then 5 or 6 episodes later, that person's in a relationship with somebody else, and they're at each other's house visiting each other like they didn't just pull themselves out of each other, you know. So that's not how real life works. You know, Holly, you are literally working next to these people who have done this. It's going to be very difficult for you to find a way to have peace about encountering this woman every day or encountering this man every day. The biggest, best thing you can do is, like I said, literally move on. Try to find some separation at work, however possible, by any means necessary. Try not to have to sit next to her. Completely ignore that those people exist, and until it just becomes more realistic. But as long as you have to encounter them and you have to watch it and it's being rubbed in your face, it's going to be very difficult. I've been in that situation, you know, to watch your ex move on right in front of your face. Oh, that is rough. Even if you like broke up mutually, it's still kind of rough. And so I'm not sure there's a magic answer for you outside of find separation however possible, um, and just try to ignore it. Put your headphones on, do whatever you can do to manipulate and manage the air around you. Um, but yeah, there's no real magic answer. Time heals all wounds, but distance will do more for you than time. So find some distance somewhere, somehow, some way, get away from them. Let me see. Shit. That just happened again. Um, I'm trying to get to this. All right, here we go. Uh, Oline Blackstone, love and respect. Thank you for the $5 super chat. I really appreciate it. Said I was stood up for a date. I waited for a guy who contacted me, and he finally contacted me to get together, but he completely bluffed me out. What the f? Yeah, I've been stood up for a date before. That sucks. Um, it sucks because if you at a restaurant and you go to a restaurant, you're like, oh no, it's cool. She gonna be here. You know, at the first you're really confident that she's gonna be here or he's gonna be here, and the waiter comes by. You want some water, cuz? Yeah, give me some water. You get some water for her too. She might want some water when she get here. And you just sit there and you know, more happens, and you know you're looking at your phone, and pretty soon you realize that they're gonna need that table because you know you holding up his money. Unless you gonna eat by yourself and tip, you need to get the hell up off the table because more people are trying to come sit down. It's so embarrassing. It's so humiliating. When a person stands you up, man, I don't think that you should. I don't think that you should talk to them again. I think that you forget that that person exists at all. I would never talk to a person after they stood me up because it's too humiliating. Too humiliating. Um, and again, most people don't even have a good excuse. Like, oh, I forgot. How the hell you forget? I've been thinking about you all day and you just forgot. Well, you know, that's indicative of where this relationship is going. Appreciate you. You know what I'm saying? But no, yeah, it sucks. Probably don't talk to him again. Unless he got in a car wreck or he has some very, very good reason that you can verify. It's just not worth getting into it with somebody that's that flaky. Um, Yeah, sorry that happened. That happened to me too before. But it really sucked. I also got catfished a couple times. I might tell you about that later. Um, that sucked too. Miss Andrea L. Love and respect, Miss Andrea. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for your $10 super chat. I appreciate you. Again, that's going into the they stole my damn car jar. Um, that we got to recoup this week, this month, this year. Somebody said she said my big brother's friend says I'm like his little sister. Oh, but compliments my looks and flirts. Right? Should I entertain it or just avoid the situation? I'd give it a try, but I don't know if he'd be serious. Um, I don't think he's serious. I think he's attracted, and I think he might want to sneak around. Um, and that's about it. I've known a lot of women personally, and through obviously what I do, that this happens quite. Mikhail R. Mikhail R. That's the super chat I missed. I'm gonna get with you right after this. So, but I've known a lot of women who flirted around. Thank you, Diana, for the 4.99 super chat. Just love. She said awesome content. I appreciate you. But I've known a lot of women who flirted with the brothers or sisters, older sibling or something like that, and they always try that crap. Oh yeah, you my little sister, or even women like, oh that's my little brother, and then people end up sleeping with each other, but they sneaking around. It's because they didn't establish that a real relationship would take place. They just built this. They just built the sexual tension, and so if all you've built is sexual tension and you haven't built an expectation of anything outside of flirting and looks, then he's probably looking. To be honest, if I'm just guessing, if I'm standing around with a bunch of guys and we're having this conversation, like, yeah, so and so's little sister is bad though. Yeah, she fine. I don't know, bro. He probably don't want you talking to his little sister. I know, man, but she hot though. She nice. It turns into him trying to just bang you and keep it quiet. So I'm hoping that you don't get entertained. He needs to present something substantial to you. He needs to present. I mean, and maybe you don't want a relationship. Maybe you just want to let him hit it, or you want to tap him. I don't know what's the problem. It ain't none of my damn business what you want. But Miss Andrea, if you want something from him, more than some D, then you're going to have to wait till he presents a bit more than attraction to you to respond. Don't respond to anything outside of, hey, I really like spending time around you, and sometimes I'm over here seeing your brother, and I just want to hang out with you because I enjoy your energy, or whatever a guy might say. But when he presents that, then you start to take it more seriously. But until he presents that, don't pay that shit no mind, because he just wants to hit it and keep it quiet. I'm sure his your brother doesn't want his friend tapping his little sister on the side like some side hole. So just don't do that. And then you put your brother in a very awkward situation if you don't start a real relationship and you're just getting tapped by his best friend. That's just messy. So I wouldn't do that. I hope that helps. I knew some women who were doing that. This girl was tapping her best friend's little brother. He was underage and everything. It was crazy. And it started with, oh, he's so cute. He my little brother though, and then she having raw sex with him. It's just it gets messy. So unless y'all know exactly what's gonna be happening, and it's gonna be appropriate enough that he's giving you the honor that he should be giving his best friend, don't mess with it. Okay, so Mikhaili R. Hey, I love and respect and appreciate you. And I think I missed your super chat earlier. I was looking at it, but the $5 thing don't last as long, and it took me too long to answer the $5 question before you. So love and respect. Sorry. She said, "Why do guys act like you're their girl and get mad and jealous when you do certain things when they've made it clear that you're not together?" Um, well, because it's about possession, it's about ownership, it's about territory. Guys are territorial, and even if a guy doesn't want to be territory, he wants to claim his territory. If a guy's tapping you, or a guy is spending his time with you, mainly just romancing you without giving you a commitment, but he gets upset that or you doing your own thing, um, even though he's telling you y'all not together, it's not necessarily because he cares about you. I always hear these women think that, oh man, he must really love me. He must really care about me because he gets jealous. No, guys are territorial. I don't love and care about my seat at work, but if somebody sits there, I'm gonna be like, bruh, man, I always sit here. Get the fuck up out of my chair. like it's territory for guys. It's not necessarily about love and all of these things, these mushy ideas. Especially if a guy's refusing to give you a real commitment. He clearly is okay with you being on the market, right? What he's trying to do is establish control and establish a dominance over your activities, so that he can have you and you can and no one else can have you, and then he can have something over there and something over there. It's more or less about control and about territory and dominance than it is about really caring about you. If he really cared about you, he'd be exclusive with you. He'd take you off the market. He'd make sure that you didn't have a reason to entertain other guys or date other guys. If he knows that you want more and he won't give you more, but he's still acting jealous, it's only because he wants to keep banging and screwing all these other women, and he wants you to sit still and wait for him to be done. When he pulls out of those women, he'll come up to your house and try to give you something too without washing that thing up. Don't let him do it. I don't care if a guy's jealous. I don't care if a guy is mad, or if he seems to be in his feelings when you date other guys. If he's refusing to give you more than some D, then you have to do your thing. You have to live your life for you. Women waste many years hoping and praying that a guy will give them something substantial when all he's giving them is some D, because he has temper tantrums and they don't want to piss him off. They don't want to make him mad and lose their shot at being in a relationship. They want to be trustworthy, so they're exclusive while he's tapping their cousins, their friends, their sisters, their neighbors, their co-workers. It's just ridiculous. So I don't care how mad he gets. I don't care how butthurt he gets. Continue living your life like a single woman until he decides that you're not a single woman and he does something about it. All right. I finally think I got through all of them. Somebody, I don't know why I just put that up. Disregard. All right. So back to these questions. Let me see. Somebody said, I ain't gonna read that. Jen J, love and respect. She said, just showing gratitude. Gave me $2 super chat. Love you. Thank you. Appreciate the $2 super chat. You two don't care. I care. It's amazing. I appreciate you. Somebody said, when's your birthday, Kev? My birthday is October 10th. I'm a Libra. October the 10th. Somebody said, what about these guys on dating sites who are separated, in quotation marks, and not divorced? I suppose that's a better, more honest start than just lying about it. Somebody said, hey, Red, shout out to Red, $4.99. She said, for the car fund. Right. I appreciate you, Red. Yeah, we got another car, boy, but it put it in that savings account. I was mad. I was big mad. But yeah, guys who, like I said, I thank you, Red. I appreciate you. Guys who are separated but not divorced, probably more trustworthy than the guys that's just cheating on their wives. At least if the separation is real, hopefully two separate dwelling places are established by that point. I hate when people say they're separated but they still living with their spouse. I don't. That's a bit messy. Black Butterfly, love and respect. Thank you for the $1.99 super chat. I appreciate that. I'm putting in the car fund. That's what we're calling it today. Thank you, though. But yeah, I've met a few people this week who had this situation where they just met a guy. He's separated, and he's living in a different dwelling place. He's just co-parenting or whatever. I think that's cool enough. As long as you don't have any religious qualms about that, I don't think that an honest separation is something that people should look down on. Those ambiguous situations in which I'm still living with her, but we're not together though. That type of stuff. I don't buy all that. But as far as I actually got my own place. She got her own place. She kept the house. Blah blah blah. Like that's cool. I wouldn't mind that. But again, if you're a Christian woman or Muslim or whatever you believe, if it goes against your religion, I wouldn't mess with it. But if not, hey, enjoy yourself. As long as it's that you know what's going on, there's some transparency. Oh, Holly Dorsey, you on 10/11? Man, look at God, right? Yeah, October's on. Happy birthday. Well, I guess it ain't neither of our birthdays, but I'm connecting with you, Holly Dorsey, 10/11. But yeah, as long as it's all open I wouldn't worry about if a guy is legally separated as long as they're living in two different places. So I guess I don't look that crazy. I just picked the damn water up and drank it. I think I look more like a 40-ounce dude when I'm drinking like a bottle. Like my lips curl up. It just gets really rough. Um, hold on. Let me see. Okay. Allison Justice. Allison Justice says I was talking to a guy and find out that they had been being separated the month she gave birth. Ah, so he was separated when he was tapping his wife, and then she gave birth, or they were quote unquote separated, and he had uh, who? Now that's a I'm trying to figure out. Okay, are you saying that she cheated, or are you saying that he cheated, or are you saying that he was not separated and he was tapping her, and then they got even so? Uh, yeah, separations can be very, very messy. So that's why you got to make sure there's a clean break. Kashana Michelle 10-9, shout out October baby. Um, Blossom McGee, Libra, shout out 929. But yeah, separations can be very, very complicated, and so you have to make sure there's a clean break and there's not just a hope to separate from each other, and they're still with each other because they can't separate themselves. Um, Somebody said Anna Marie Guzman said, I got a question. I've been talking to a guy and we had a great time texting each other, but today he hasn't texted me. I only got one text from him, and it only said hey, but other than that, I got no other. Okay, so it sounds like you've been generally texting this guy on a regular basis, and you only got one text from him today. Um, one day of light communication isn't the end of the world. I wouldn't worry about that. What my biggest concern would be is the pattern of light communication or no communication. The pattern of not being in contact with someone is more disturbing than somebody just not hollering at you one day. Sometimes I meet women who say that. Yeah, sometimes I meet women who say things like that, and it's just clear that the guy might have skipped a day, and they're writing me on the day he skipped, or like on the end of the day he skipped. Like, I haven't heard from him all day. Is it over? No, it's not over. It's just maybe it's over. But if it's a habit or a consistent elusiveness that you picking up on, then yeah, you probably losing ground with him. But if he's just not texting you for one day, he could be having a really rough day. You be busy. Does Kev have a video about the steps and levels of dating? I don't believe so. I think that's a good idea though. The steps and levels of dating. That's pretty cool. Somebody said, what about apologizing to somebody you didn't realize you had feelings for? Well, I suppose it depends on what you're apologizing for. If you're apologizing for some BS, and I suppose if you care about them, you probably should be apologizing, but that doesn't mean they should accept your apology. I tell women sometimes, like, women write me, some women are horrible, horrible. There are some, like, women be talking about how bad guys are. Yeah, women write me 2 pages of her banging people, brothers and cousins and family members, destroying relationships, and I just like, she be like, how do I get them back? I'm like, you don't need to get them back. You need to go far away from them people. They was good without you. Like, some of y'all are trouble. I don't even know how I got on that. But yeah, so what about apologizing to somebody you didn't realize you had feelings for? Make sure that you're deserving of the forgiveness, and make sure that you've actually learned, and hopefully that you're not going to do that again. But apologizing is good. They just don't have to accept it if you wronged them. Tracy Woodley said, my boyfriend and I work together. How do I conduct myself during a breakup? Ooh, complicated. Conduct yourself as a single woman who has respect for her job. Just be professional. That's all. Just be professional. Forget about whether or not y'all was together. I don't care what. Just be professional. I don't know what type of job you have. Some jobs are super lackadaisical. There's no real conduct established. But if you work in a place that has a professional conduct established, then you can just follow the conduct. Like pretend like you don't fraternize at work. Pretend. But if you just be professional, it would help you a lot in your relationship because not unfortunately, fortunately enough for us, as people separate, when time goes by, they forget like that they know each other. Like people start to feel unfamiliar to you. And so if you're only seeing a person at work and they're not encountering you at home and you're not talking to them on the phone and stuff like that, in a few months you'll feel like, shit, I used to know her. Right? Like you start feeling disconnected, like you really losing that person. You don't know them like that. Like I tell people all the time, there are people I used to know and I don't know them anymore. Just because I was friends with you for 10 years ago doesn't mean I know who you are now. Like I don't know you anymore. I'm a completely different person than I was 10 years ago. I'm the same spirit. I have the same nature, but what I know is different. What I do is different. Um, and so, it doesn't have to be 10 years. And in a year's time, a man can feel like, man, I don't know what she's into. And as long as, you're not encountering them too much and you're keeping a healthy enough distance to where you're not talking to them all the time and stuff like that, make yourself feel like a question mark to them. And that's how you deal with them. But as long as you're rubbing shoulders with them and trying to be cool and talking all the time and stuff like that, if you're not keeping your distance, it's going to make it very easy to create that separation at work. And it will prolong the hurt feelings on both sides. Let me see. Somebody says, yeah, I don't know what the hell going on. Somebody says, Cherish 0887 says, a guy I'm talking to claimed he wants to visit me, but would hate to have to leave, which I'm not inviting him. Yeah, he's trying to allude to he wants to stay over. Yeah, he's trying to hit it. Yeah, he talking about he would hate to have to leave. He trying to stay over. Do what you want to do. It's your body, it's your relationship. But I'm just telling you, if a guy's trying to act like he can't control it, like, I don't know if I could control myself around you. Or, man, I would hate to have to leave and I got over there. He trying to stay. He trying to get in your bed. He trying to hit it. And that's what he's trying to do. Now, whether or not you want him to do that is on you. It's your prerogative. Enjoy yourself however you want to. I ain't trying to control nobody's bodies. But that's what he's trying to do. He don't want to leave because he wants to stay over. He wants to be in your bed. So that's what's up with that. Somebody says, let me see. Oh man, it's moving too fast. Somebody said, I guess I got some haters in the comment and people responding to that. Man, listen, I just don't. I don't even think about like people. Look, you got to be a sad person if you come in here trying to stop me from doing what I'm doing. I don't even know what comment people are responding to, but I'm just saying that you are wasting your time if you think I give a single shred of a shit about somebody not liking my message. I just don't. Love and respect to you, but I got bigger shit to do. I got stuff to worry about. I ain't got to worry about. I'm not worried about nobody disliking what I got to say. That is not why I'm here. Somebody said, how tall are you? What state do you live in? Just asking out of curiosity. I'm in a happy relationship. I enjoy listening to you. I am 6'2.5", 6'3" if I'm wearing Timbs, right? Because Timbs give you a little bit of boost. Like anytime where people wear boots, a lot of guys are running around with Timbs on, not because they like boots and heavy ass shoes that is hard to walk in all day, but they like them because it makes them look taller. Timbs are like heels. Boots are like heels sometimes. So now I'm 6'3" if I'm wearing boots, but for the most part I'm just about 6'2", 6'2.5". I live in Ohio. For those of you who care about that, I generally don't tell the city. I'm sure people can find out. It's not that hard, but You never know who you're talking to. And if some of y'all be pillow talking with these boyfriends that y'all not supposed to be talking to, after y'all ask me, hey, should I talk to him? I'm like, nah, girl, he trash. And then you tell him because you're pillow talking because you gave him some, and then he show up at my doorstep, he's gonna meet his demise. So I try not to tell people where I live at, because if some disgruntled men start are trying to make it a thing, I'm war ready. Anyway, I got some questions and some things from my moderator. She said, "Home, I just met this girl at work. What's up, Hector? Shout out to the guys in the comment section. Love and respect, baby." He said, "Homie, I just met this girl at work. She's nice, but I can never close the deal." If the deal you mean to close is just trying to get close to her and get to a position where you can like be something to her, right? You're trying to be just influential or important, or just connect to her. If she's not taking you serious, it's almost nothing that you can do outside of literally just moving on, and letting her watch you work instead of being in it. Sometimes when someone observes you, they see different than when they're encountering you. Um, Unfortunately, a lot of nice girls are very elusive, and a lot of them are very shy. A lot of them aren't sure what they want, and a lot of them are very untrusting. Right? Everybody looks like a predator to some people, and I'm not sure what your energy is, what you're putting off to her. But if for whatever reason you can't close the deal, I'm not sure how close you're getting to whatever you consider the deal. So closing the deal, it alludes to you making some progress. I would need to know exactly what that progress is. And as long as the deal you seek to close is an honorable woman, I help guys too. Um, I talk to guys all the time, and particularly on Instagram more often than not. So if for whatever reason you want to talk about that girl or that situation, you can definitely write me on Instagram, or you can go to my website, www.girltalkwithguys.com. And like I said, we can hash that out and try to figure out a plan to, close the deal. Like I said, as long as that deal isn't just getting her to drop her drawers, but it's to, try to build something substantial with her. I don't help women steal other men, and I don't help guys just get some draws. So as long as the deal you seek to close is a good one, then I'm down with that. But yeah, write me on Instagram or on my website if it's over 150 characters, and we'll hash that out. I appreciate your love, Hector. um, hmm. I ain't tripping. Let me go back up here. I know I missed a gang of questions up at the top. So I'm gonna go back up here. And then I'm gonna get off of here at 1:15. I think about 1:15. Yeah, about 1:15 I get off. I'm getting tired. But I ain't been on here in a minute, and I know that people been wanting to talk to me for a while. So if you got some questions, send them now. I know I done missed some, but I'm gonna try to get to some of y'all. Somebody said Queen. I'm not gonna beat up. Queen Nikki know who I am. Queen Nick know who I am. Gotcha. This was an old question. She probably ain't even watching no more. She said, I told a friend not to date a guy with 4 kids by 3 different baby mamas. Did I do the right thing? Yes. Hell yeah, you told her. Told her absolutely right. A man with 4 kids by 3 different babies mamas can grow. He can turn into an amazing individual with some maturity and something to offer. But even if he did that, can he provide for all 4 of those kids? And can you deal with all 3 of those babies' mamas? I don't know. Yeah, probably not. Because even if you're positive and you want to deal with them, and you love their kids as your own, and he takes care of his kids, that's all big ifs. That's if he's doing his weekends, and that's if he has a good attitude and he has established a good relationship. Then maybe your positive attitude can make a difference. That's if all of those things. Then it's like if he has the money to take care of them, and if after all of that drama he has the energy and the wherewithal and the capacity to love you in the complete way you need to be loved. I think a man with multiple